hell of a race, Nico. Yes.
It's almost a second quicker. Nico Hulkenberg. Job on the line at Williams, but a job well done today in qualifying.
That's it, Nico. Fantastic. Thank you guys. Good job.
Yeah! Get in there, racing point. Nice one.
Nico, to celebrate your 200th race in Formula One, we thought we'd take you down memory lane with some gifts.
What a nice idea.
I know, right? Some gifts from teams and from people who hold you in such high regard and have such happy memories.
Okay.
So we'll take it right back to the start. If you could read the message on each one.
To Nico, you always remember your first. Love, Williams Racing. Okay.
You can open it.
Yeah, I remember this. Rubens was, he was not happy that afternoon. I was very happy.
Your first pole position.
Exactly.
Look at the time. Look at that. It's almost a second quicker. Nico Hulkenberg. Job on the line at Williams, but a job well done today in qualifying.
The car felt good. I had a good rhythm and I was just pushing as hard as I could, and my engineer told me I have a good pace. But then, you know, I expected when he came on the radio that he said, yeah, you're PP5, P6, you know, the usual stuff. But then he said, you're pole position.
First and only pole, so... Yeah.
So young.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you remember that year?
Well, first year, you know, it's just overwhelming. So many things come at you, you know, so many... Actually, when you start this job as a Formula One driver, there's actually so many new things that hit you, so many unknowns, you know, huge learning curve. But, you know, a lot of lessons learned next to him, especially at the time he was the most experienced driver on the grid and I was a rookie. He was playing games most of the times and having his tricks on me. Often I thought, you know, I got you, old man. And then he pulled some trick for quali and he turned it around. Good old days, I suppose. It was fun.
Hungary was a standout. P6 that afternoon, well ahead of Rubens.
Hungary had a very good race weekend. I remember also Monza was a very good one. And Monza was the weekend before, so Williams had an option and they had to exercise the option after Monza. That was the due date, and I drove such a good weekend, didn't put a foot wrong, and I was like, they can't not take the option, and they just don't take the option, and we were like, you know, and then we knew, okay, we're in trouble here.
Oh man. Well, they still hold you in such high regard, so
thank you.
Lovely thing. Right, now I know that in terms of the actual lineage, you go to Force India next. But we're going to deal with Force India a bit later. Yeah. Sauber, in 2013.
Jeez, guys, proper work here unwrapping.
There's a note there.
It was short but sweet. Oh, wow. Rear wing end plate.
It's your rear wing end plate from 2013.
Look, the Mexican sponsors were still there with me. These are my friends actually from Interprotection, Telstel, obviously we all know.
Monza was good that year.
Yeah, Monza obviously was...
P3 on the
it was the first Ferrari powered car. I beat both Ferraris in quali. And I remember Friday, actually I didn't get on with the car and the track at all. And I was like, Jesus man, this is gonna be a tough weekend. And then somehow overnight we made some setup changes and Saturday it just clicked. And remember that lap in Q3, you just like hot knife through butter. It just came to me, it came together. Because I saw my Delta just going in the right direction and I was like, yes, another few tens in the bank. Yeah, it was good memories there.
Love that. And then Korea, that P4 ahead of Lewis, Alonso, Rosberg, holding them all behind.
Yeah. So they all bit their teeth out and couldn't get by me. And we were second the half of that year. We were really strong. First year we were struggling, but that was obviously the era of the blown diffusers. And the Sauber car was so strong on low-speed exits with the blown diffuser that I always had such an amazing exit out of turn one, and I pulled 2-3 Carlin. And that was missing for the guys to catch me. So I really enjoyed the blown diffuser times because, shift down a gear, like get the revs up and you got more grip for it.
Well done, Nico. Hell of a race, Nico. Yes. Nico, that was a masterpiece. Thank you.
We move on now to Renault, 2017 to 2019.
Yes, Hulkenberg. You always be our favorite blonde. Did they have that many blondes, did they?
Not many.
Not recently, at least.
No, not since the 70s.
Yeah, that was my helmet. I think it was the... that color scheme was 18. Yeah, because 17 was the red helmet. 18 I went dark, carbon, stealth mode. That was kind of the factory team, factory drive. That was supposedly the move, that should have got us to the front. Unfortunately, we never really made it all the way to the front, but still had a great time there, great people. I'm still friends with most of the people that I worked with back then.
Singapore was a great weekend for you. You're running in a podium position until a mechanical.
There was a hydraulic leak. We had to stop and pump the hydraulic pressure back up.
Oh, this is cruel, cruel luck for Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's so many stories, along the way. But all the drivers, I'm sure they have it. There's always the lost opportunity.
But that drive at the end of the season in Abu Dhabi, you single-handedly with your points that season got Renault the P6 and the constructors.
That's it, Nico. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Good job. Thank you for your part. Superbly judged. No worries. That's what I'm here for.
We move on now to the team with which you probably spent your most time. Force India, 2012, 2014 to 16. Racing Point as a reserve and the super sub, the Hulkenberg and Aston Martin as well.
Oh, nice. Souvenir. A racing suit. Collected a few over the years now.
Take us back to the first day you went into into the factory at Silverstone and met the team for the first time, because you spent
You mean 2011?
Yeah, right at the start.
So 2011, actually, so 2010, we touched on that. I wasn't out of a drive, but Williams, they didn't want to tell me because, I don't know. And then Sunday night, they tell me. And obviously I was on the floor and not happy. And that evening still, I went to visit Vijay and Otmar on the Indian Empress, who he had still in Abu Dhabi by the back, not in the main port, but backside where the big yachts are. Obviously, I was after the news that when they told me, I'm out, I wasn't in the best mood, and I only remember that talked to Vijay, and from my point of view, it was all fine. And then later, Otmar told me, why were you swearing so much? Vijay wasn't so impressed with that. He's like, is he really good at Hulkenberg? Should we sign him? And Otmar says, yeah, we should sign him. So that's how I met Vijay. And then obviously 2011, I had 1 year there as a reserve driver. Got a bunch of P1s, and it was a kind of the deal was already for 2012 to be back in the racing seat. So it was a year of sidelines and patience. 2012, little excursion to Sauber and then back to Force India.
Yeah.
And we battled for many years with the big teams. Often really punched above our weight. Obviously a small team that was trying to upset the big boys.
I mean, looking back at 12, that first year with them, Belgium stands out for me. Brazil. Again,
Yeah, Brazil.
That you always go well there.
Brazil 2012, that is, one I'm going back to often. Should have been a bit more patient. I mean, I was fighting and battling for the lead of the race, so, that's what a racing driver naturally does. But I just was a little too impatient in that moment.
Hulkenberg might just go through here and back up into the lead. Oh, they've touched! And Hamilton and Hulkenberg come together. Damage for Hamilton and Hulkenberg.
And then when you went back as the reserve, you did the Hulkenberg, the legend of the Hulkenberg.
Yeah, the many.
The 70th anniversary race at Silverstone. Straight in, P3 on the grids. I mean, that was such a story. That was so mega.
Yeah, it was a good story. It was a good car. That car was probably still till today the fastest and the best car that I've driven in F1. So much downforce. And obviously after 19, I knew, okay, I have a year out. I was enjoying life. I was spending more time on the couch at home. And then I get the call, to rush to Silverstone and high-speed circuit, IG. And I was suffering my neck. I remember in quali that Beckett's in Chapel. I heard in the helmet bones cracking, because the force was so brutal and my neck wasn't up for it. But yeah, it was a hell of a story, yeah.
Hulkenberg crossed the line, goes P3.
Wow!
Yeah! Get in there, Racing Point. Nice one.
And similar at Nürburgring.
Nürburgring, I think that record no one will beat ever, to be called up 4 hours before qualifying. It was wild, it was just completely mad and wild. I mean, I didn't have time to think, it was just okay, get to the circuit, race there, set a new record from Cologne to the Nürburgring circuit. Had a pretty handy car as well, GT2 RS, which allowed me to go quick. Yeah, and then arrived, just which suit, okay, quick pedal check, and out I went. That was it. And then points the next day from P last.
P20 to P8.
Yeah.
It was a mega drive.
Great job, Nico, great job. P8. Well, hubris. And it was fun, but very, very tough at the same time. Thank you guys. It was a bunch of fun. Thank you all, secondly. you have won driver of the day.
Yeah, wild. I mean, that was a wild story.
And then we roll full circle. So right here, right now, your 200th race.
That's just going, through time. Yeah, my helmet for this weekend, obviously, just going down memory lane. All the different years, teams,
A1
moments. Yeah, that's A1 too. There's a bit of karting stuff on here, and also it's not just F1. There's also a bit more, pre-F1 stuff. But yeah, pretty sweet, pretty nice.
And Le Mans.
Le Mans too, yeah.
Oh, I love that. The return, the old man face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been fun.
It's been an incredible journey. How many do you think you got in you?
I mean, if you can do 200, you can do 300 now. So, got a few years left to do that. I think, obviously, by end of next year, I'll be close to 230-ish. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.